AJ Styles' nuts resting on an open fire. 18 naked cowboys in a shower. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you've had a bloody lovely time. I hope you've made sweet, sweet love to bear pigs and blankets and next bear bucks face. What could be better, eh? No doubt if you look to your left right now, you'll see a granny pisses a fart, passed out, and if you look to the right, you'll see a television with a Vicar of Dibley on, which means it's time for a lovely family tradition of a family game of soggy biscuit. Have a great time. Now, I know the cliches are a pain in the arse, but in terms of WWE's year in 2018, one of the most painfully overused cliches in the history of cliches fits perfectly, because WWE's year in 2018, it's been a roller coaster. The very good has been matched by the very bad, which has then been squashed by the very controversial. Ronan Keating quite literally said it best when he sang a song about a roller coaster. We found Becky. We lost viewers. Vince McMahon runs a company full of wrongdoers. Boom. We've seen it all in 2018, haven't we? It's been an absolute hoot. So without further ado, I am Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com. I am one half of your Cultaholic heavyweight champion. Thank you for still being a sexual wank pheasant. And here are my 10 biggest WTF moments of 2018. But first, here is a list of honourable mentions that is just as long as your boy Fimbalur's phallus. Dr. Dean Ambrose claims Roman Reigns got leukemia because he was a naughty boy in the Shield way back in the day. Nia works herself into a shoot on Becky Lynch's face. Velveteen Dream's entire wardrobe was bought from Hulk Hogan's clothes shop. That time WWE completely messed up Bayley versus Sasha at the counselling thing. Renee Young makes history as she becomes the first full-time female commentator in WWE Raw history. The Survivor Series pre-show match that didn't count because one of the backstage producers ensured the wrong team won. Piss. Fox spunking $1.5 billion on SmackDown Live. Brock Lesnar eats medium, well-done steaks. Renee Young not talking to Dean Ambrose, who of course is her husband and the man who she pisses and lives with, about his heel turn. Connor of the Ascension wins 2 singles matches in 2 weeks on WWE Raw. Santa Claus was at SmackDown Live on October the 23rd. Stone Cold Steve Austin, a very bald man, was used to promote shampoo. The WWE World Cup participants, all 8 of them, were American. LOL. Elias melts an arena. Carmella turns face with absolutely no reason given. Charlotte Flair Roman Reigns as she was given the chance to be in the SummerSlam SmackDown Women's Championship match out of absolutely nowhere. No, we're not watching that Samoa Joe somehow live streams from a mobile phone to the SmackDown Live Titantron as he goes to AJ Styles' house to break in and presumably assault Wendy and Annie. Liv Morgan gets back into the ring after being concussed by some stiff cheese. Shame on you, WWE medical team. The Miz throws a baby. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy participate in some BDSM at Hell in a Cell. Samoa Joe is actually Shakespeare and apparently owns a publishing company who make fairy tales. Maurice versus Brie Bella main event SmackDown Live in 2018. Those pissing words on screen. WWE Raw nominated for Show of the Year. Brock Lesnar's teeth. WWE's fetish for Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin matches. WWE's fetish for Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler matches. John Cena squashed in no time at WrestleMania by a very old Terry Funk. The Shield are sent to prison, get released, and then are given a police van to drive back to WWE Raw, and all of that happens inside of 3 hours. Kevin Owens quits, but then returns. The Revival pin Roman Reigns. Shelton Benjamin. Natalya can't work out which knee is supposed to be injured. Randy Orton's Viper flavoured handshakes. Mickey James brags to 2 men that they'll never be Raw Women's Champion. Seth Rollins calls Drew McIntyre a sheepshagger. Kane spits some bars written by NSYNC. AJ Styles wears a thong under his tights. Asuka confused by the concept of somebody dressing up as her. Shinsuke Nakamura legitimately bitten by a police dog backstage. Bayley sings Sasha ain't worth SHIT on Raw. Cock everywhere. AJ Styles refusing to wear a cup despite cock being everywhere. Everything Jonathan Coachman said, but especially that crap with Nia Jax and that rest hold. The sisters. The fact the sisters would tie Bobby Lashley up and leave him in a room, and then they would chase him around with a brush, and then Bobby even admitted, even though he was supposed to be a smiley baby face, as pure as the driven snow, he bullied the school bully by shoving his sister's towel down his throat. Oh my god, those production trucks cost $12 million. Ripe for the picking is something only my husband can call me. That one time a referee pointed out that another referee had made a bad Bad call on SmackDown Live. Why doesn't that happen all the time? The cardboard wall. Fat Booth Thin. Daddy. Braun Strowman tells a story live on WWE Raw in front of the world about how he murdered several of his pals inside of a treehouse. WWE claimed that Sami Zayn missed the Greatest Royal Rumble due to vertigo and not the actual reason of his heritage. Shane McMahon recovers from diverticulitis and a staph infection after about half an hour, just so he could say he recovered from what Brock Lesnar and CM Punk had, but quicker, because he's the best in the world. Mike Chioda confused by Carmella trying to cash in Money in the Bank 13 years after the first one happened. Paige's retirement. Kurt Angle saying I heard Impact are hiring. Aiden English turns into Aiden Polish by losing all of his hair while WrestleMania is going on. The Little People pancakes in front of the unicorn fetishists and breakfast food salesmen at WrestleMania. Everything surrounding the fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal. Roman Reigns physically assaults the US Marshals but doesn't get arrested. Mower of lawn. Stoned. That time a cameraman did a JBL. A match that lasted for 2 whole hours on WWE Raw. The SmackDown Live Top 10 list. Lady Balls herself claimed that we can't forget about China at the Royal Rumble, even though WWE have definitely forgotten about China. Sami Zayn wins a match with a Blue Thunder Bomb. Chris Jericho wears his New Japan merch on Raw a couple of weeks after appearing at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Kurt Angle fires Braun Strowman on Raw. No wonders Lady Balls castrated him later in the year. And I swear to God if I've missed anything from this year, I won't be here on New Year's Day. So let's kick things off with the painting, everybody. A strange phenomenon took over WWE in 2018 as a painting followed the company wherever they went in the middle portion of the year and somehow got on television for many weeks in a row. Paul Heyman cut a promo, it was there. Brock Lesnar's dressing room, it was there. The Miz's secret location, not known to anybody on SmackDown Live, the painting was there. The set of Miz and Mrs, it was there as well. It didn't matter where the company went for a stretch there in the middle of the year, the painting, it followed them round, and I think it's a lovely representation of Byron Saxton's time in the company. It follows them around everywhere. It's really irrelevant, but somehow it's on every piss and show. But then we got towards the autumn and somehow, someway, the painting just stopped appearing on WWE TV, which I think is a good thing because I was becoming really scared that I would wake up one morning and the painting would be next to me in bed. Just give us some answers, WWE. Why? John Cena is middle-aged and without a care in the world, and it's fantastic to see. He's lost a lady. He doesn't care. He's grown his hair out and looks like a slightly malnourished JBL, but he doesn't care. He's thin in the face, alright, that's what I meant. He's thin in the face. He teases a 6-move of doom after roughly 100 years of using the same old boring 5 moves to win many matches, and he brings out something that's a complete troll, and he just doesn't care. Just look at the face he pulls when he used this move to win a match at the Super Showdown, man. He knows he's taking the piss, and he loves it. Cena debuted the move called the Lightning Fist at a live event in China back in September because, and I quote, the WWE Universe knows as the superstars become smarter and smarter, and I have more and more matches, I have reworked the attitude adjustment just about every way I can. It used to be about 100% with this batting average, but now it's just about 50, maybe less. So not only is this a new maneuver that has a true foundation in the Chinese culture, he actually said this, which I'm very proud of because I would love to pay respect to my experience here, but it's also extremely powerful, he says. Ha! It's a punch, everybody, and not even a proper one. It's something that belongs in a cartoon. He stands there, goes, Kyo! Or something like that, and then goes with the back of his hand, clipping his opponent. Complete and utter piss taker. Well, the Greatest Royal Rumble was a hoot, wasn't it? We saw Titus O'Neil almost kill himself when he went arse over tip. We saw Jinder Mahal turn a Jeff Hardy whisper in the wind into a Jinder Mahal pissing into the wind when he bumped when he wasn't even touched. And we saw NXT jobber Dan Mather build his NXT trainer Dan Mather. But most importantly of all, and the entry into these WTF moments for the year of 2018, a random sumo man appeared. Hiroki Sumi. It's a household name. Go and ask your mom. Go and ask your dad. They'll have watched Hiroki Sumi matches when they were little kids. And down he came because he's a massive name in WWE and deserves to be in the Greatest Royal Rumble ever. Let's head all the way back to April's Greatest Royal Rumble WTF moments to find out the reason why Hiroki appeared at the GRR. Is that Yokozuna? No, I'm not being a dirty, filthy racist at this time. Please have in your mind a story that Dave Meltzer broke, saying one of the founders for the event wanted 3 wrestlers to appear. One of them was The Undertaker, one of them was The Ultimate Warrior, and one of them was Yokozuna. And of course, 2 of them couldn't turn up because they were quite busy being dead. Apparently that man there was WWE's compromise for Yokozuna not being there, while the Great Khali was WWE's compromise for The Ultimate Warrior not being able to make it. I know, I refuse to believe it's actually true, but apparently it is. So there we go. Every dirt sheet and their dog claimed that Roman Reigns was going to put 3 years of utter ball tickling to an end by getting that clean, decisive, career-making, legacy-establishing victory over Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. You know, the culmination to the story that was supposed to end at WrestleMania 31 until all these rumours about Brock going away forever gathered pace around Elimination Chamber 2018 weekend when the Beast was said to have spoken to UFC bald man Dana White about a UFC-shaped deal. And then on top of that, every single reporter in the world reported that Brock Lesnar's WWE contract came to an end just after WrestleMania 34 and there was absolutely no chance of the Beast staying around. Imagine then the shock and horror within the WWE universe when Brock Lesnar didn't do the traditional GOP when going out the door, instead pinning the big dog, who instead at this time looked more like Gromit with jam on his face. Basically, everyone's arses dropped out their shorts. So here we go then, this is the in-depth, insightful, journalistic analysis I provided during the record-breaking WTF Moments video for WrestleMania 34. Play the clip, please. Brock wins, take that, dirty sheets. Oh. Nicholas is a child. Nicholas won the Raw Tag Team Championships from the bar alongside Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 34 before the pair had to vacate them less than 24 hours later because of a scheduling conflict, otherwise known as Nicholas's school life, because he's in 4th grade. So let's take another trip back to that record-breaking WTF Moments video from WrestleMania 34 to see just how I dealt with this earth-shattering news, and I don't know why. I mentioned Hulk Hogan in point 85. I don't like Hogan. I was probably pissed. Play the video. So Braun Strowman says he's going to pick his tag team partner to take on The Bar from the crowd and then sets off to go and get one. In the process, he walked past No Way Jose, but let's be honest, he's a little bit rubbish. But more importantly, he walked past one of the first ever WCPW tag team champions, Johnny Moss, and he looked by him as if he wasn't there. That's a mistake, that. And of course, instead of Johnny Moss and instead of No Way Jose, Braun picked a small child called Nicholas. And for those of you upset by this, let me remind you that professional wrestling is not a legitimate combat sport. It's entertainment. This thing they did here was very much different from the norm, therefore it's good in my book. I guess it's a little bit disappointing when you hear names like Hulk Hogan and Jeff Hardy linked with the role, but it's not the worst thing that's ever happened, so calm the piss down. After all, you worship a man who pretends to be dead and has lightning bolts shooting from his hands. What's more far-fetched? Of course, the WTF moment, apart from Braun actually picking Nicholas, is the fact that it was allowed when you consider the long list of things banned in New Orleans by that commission, whatever they're called. He's 10 for Christ's sake. And next up we have Michael Cole screaming, Nicholas is legal! Nicholas is legal! He's not, man, he's 10 years old, you weirdo. And yes, Nicholas is a Raw Tag Team Champion, and I don't know what's going on anymore, but I guess we live in a world where David Otunga was a Raw Tag Team Champion, so this really isn't that weird, is it? He is 10 years old though, and not a wrestler, so I guess it is. I know it's only been a week, but I still cannot believe that Lady Balls, her man Balls, Colonel McSweaty Balls, and old wrinkly Balls said the things they said on WWE Raw during that horrible opening promo, the set of ungodly liars. Now let's go behind the scenes here at Cultaholic. After shooting last week's WTF Moments video for WWE Raw, I went for a Jeremy Whittle. When I was washing my hands, I looked in the mirror, and what did I see? I saw 2 little grey hairs here, and I saw 2 little grey hairs there, and they only could have been produced by my reaction to this opening segment on last week's WWE Raw. It was that infuriating. So then, let's have a look at my hair turning grey. So out he came with the strut, Vincent Kennedy McMahon looking like a 73-year-old tooth fiend only could, and I thought the reaction he got from the crowd in the arena was absolutely baffling. It was nice to see old Vinnie Mac because we don't get to see him too much these days. It was like a fun uncle coming round for Christmas when you've only seen him a couple of times all year long. Hello, fun uncle, you would say, with a slight smile on your face. However, I imagine just about every single fan in that arena last night who reads the dirty sheets was besmirching the good name of Vincent Kennedy McMahon over the past few weeks when it was revealed that he apparently wrote a couple of the worst Raws in recent, in fact, in history, ever history, from top to bottom himself. But then last night, those same fans who would have been besmirching Vince McMahon were popping like they're on the phone to Penny. Think about it. They were going radio rental, they were doing all this business, and I was sat there going, really? What on earth are you doing? This is the same man who was single-handedly responsible for every single thing you have hated about WWE Raw over the past year, over the past 2 years, over however long you've hated things about WWE Raw. We all do it. We all moan about WWE Raw every single week, and despite the fans' best wishes, we don't want to hate WWE, do we? We just just want it to get better because we care. Yet he does absolutely nothing about it. All of the moaning about Raw from week to week to week. Now when Vince McMahon's in the room, it's some kind of religious worship ting. All that means one word to me, and it's fickle. Goodness gracious me, slap my arse and call me Gertrude. Vince and Kenny McMahon stand there saying that WWE changes with the times is like a man who looks like me standing here and telling you that I go to the gym religiously and lead a balanced, healthy lifestyle. Vince, man, how the hell can you say such a thing after the 2018 we've had in WWE? It all kicked off in January. Kane main eventing one of the big 5 pay-per-views at the Royal Rumble. We watch Raw every single week with the same 20-minute boring opening promo. When we have the fiasco with Triple H, The Undertaker, Kane again, Shawn Michaels, all the grandpas coming back to play. They all showed us what Mother Nature does to us, what a cruel bitch she is when we get older. And then we have the fiasco with delusional old sweaty father Shane McMahon being crowned best in the world. That's changing with the times, is it, Vince? I get you do it with production and technical things, but the way you said it, the way you meant it, the way you clearly meant it, that made me sick.
My name is
Vince.
I shake my maracas.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Vince McMahon, I did not realise that when you said you were going to shake things up on WWE Raw, you actually meant you were going to shake things up like you were shaking a baby vigorously after that baby has necked a full pint of milk from a mother's teat. I'm vomiting everywhere like a small child would in that situation. Why the hell is Colonel McSweaty Bollocks on my WWE Raw? Why should he care about how bad Raw's doing? He's the leader of SmackDown Live. He's the captain, the manager, the best in the world of the other team. He should be reveling in the fact that Raw is struggling, but no, he's there helping. Why? Hugging? Why the hell are they hugging? Survivor Series 2017, Triple H being aligned with Raw, Shane McMahon being aligned with SmackDown Live, Triple H boning Shane McMahon's sister. Should I have said that? I don't know. They should hate each other, yet they're hugging like they're in love. Are they in love? Shane McMahon like cerebral daddy shovels, Triple H like sweat. And next up we have the moment where Lady Balls took the microphone and said, fans, we haven't been doing a good job. We haven't been doing what Vince McMahon taught us from a very early age. We haven't been listening to you fans. Vince taught you that? Now I know this might not be the best time to say this, but this is the same man who pushed Roman Reigns for 3 pissing years despite the fact that clearly, audibly, a large chunk of the WWE Universe didn't want him. He taught you to listen to the fans, does he? This is a man who about 20 years ago stood there in the gimmick of Mr. McMahon, I know, but it's true, isn't it? It's got to be true. It's the real man stood in front of us. He stood there and said, damn it, I know what these fans want more than the fans want. They just got to please me. Elton John of Bo Selector. They've called us mugs time and time again, and now they're trying to paint themselves as different human beings. I cannot believe I'm hearing this. This is like somebody running into your house, nicking your television, running away, you calling the coppers, this man being caught, and then this man going, no, I didn't catch your telly, I just took it home, just to sparkle up a bit, to make sure it looks nicer when you came and got it back. And next up we have Triple H saying the days of absentee management are over on WWE Raw, and how the hell can you say that after months and months and months and painful months of big baldy bastard Baron Corbin being at least 12 segments on every single WWE Raw. We had too much management, Triple H. How about you address the absentee champion? For Christ's sake. We'd all like that, wouldn't we? We're sick of seeing the piss and same managerial storylines with people in the positions we don't want to see, like big baldy bastard Baron Corbin. Just get a champion who turns up every week, and that's one of your problems ticked off the list. It's a piece of piss, man. The 4 of us will be taking back Monday Night Raw, they all say. Shane McMahon, is he lost? He's sweaty on SmackDown. He's not clammy on Raw. I know I said it earlier in this video, but I'll say it again. He should be loving the fact that Raw's doing crap. He should be loving the fact that SmackDown, 1 week aside recently, has been very, very good. Yet he's not. And by the way, I've said all of this, and the show at this point was only 7 minutes and 19 seconds long. And here he comes again, forehead glistening, all around us, children playing, having fun. Merry Christmas. We have Shane McMahon claiming that this taken back of Raw by the McMahons also counts for SmackDown Live too. No, man, leave SmackDown Live out of this. SmackDown Live, that one bummer of a week aside, has been very, very good recently, in my humble opinion. I know, it could be better. It could have more segments outside the box, despite every single promo being the same promo we see in WWE TV all the time. But SmackDown's been good. Leave it out of this, Shane. Raw's the mess here. And next up we have the barefaced lie of the night where they said we're going to empower our superstars and we're going to empower you, the fans. So let me get this right. You've just stood there in front of the world and said we're going to give the fans and the superstars a voice as to how WWE is presented on Raw and SmackDown Live. You've done that well in the past, haven't you? No, you haven't, arses. I tell you what, this segment has been the most unbelievable of 2018 so far. And 2018, if you haven't heard, is almost pissing over. The lies, packs of them, endless lies. It's all lip service, and worst of all, Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, Lady Balls and Triple H all think we'll just take it and we'll watch Raw and have a good time. They think we're utter mugs. And next up, we have an ad break to make as a WTF moment because it came at the worst possible time. Out he flaunted, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin said to the four McMahons in the ring, we need to have a conversation. And then the show went to ad break, presumably during which time the McMahons and big baldy bastard Baron Corbin just stood there twiddling their thumbs for 4 minutes long. Why did the ad break have to happen there? All that was missing was an overexcited Tony Schiavone saying, find out what happens next week on Monday Nitro to complete the nonsensical package. It's inconsistency o'clock now, you set of bastards. Oh. So big baldy bastard Baron Corbin is getting continuously booed out of the arena by the fans, and Triple H is forced to say, voila, if you don't shut up, he won't be able to speak. Then big baldy bastard Baron Corbin asked Lady Balls, Mummy, will you please tell the people to be quiet? And then she did the worst possible thing she could have done. She egged the crowd on. She wanted more boo. She was like, my dad's an old deaf fart. He can't quite hear you. Boo some more. Let's remember, Lady Balls is the woman, of course, who hired big baldy bastard Baron Corbin to first be a constable because Kurt Angle wasn't doing a very good job, in her opinion. She then sent Kurt Angle home to hire big baldy bastard Baron Corbin as the general manager-elect. This, all the boos, all the negativity towards big baldy bastard Baron Corbin is all her pissing fault. What a twat. Guess what, everybody? It's 5 past inconsistency o'clock. Come on, just look at old Lady Balls' face when Kurt Angle's music hit. Let's not forget, Kurt Angle is the man who helped Ronda Rousey make a mockery of Lady Balls on the grandest stage of them all, point, at WrestleMania 34. Then, he is the man who, in Lady Balls' opinion, did a horrible job of Raw, so bad she had to kick him off onto the streets. He's been living homelessly, look at the poor man, he's not clean shaven. But no, just as he saw before, the smile on her face clearly says that she's forgotten all about it. But just because she has, doesn't mean we have to. It's a massive inconsistency. This hell. And penultimately, to do with this opening segment that has just about given me a stroke by this point, we have Michael Cole saying that Baron Corbin might get his. Might get his. What do you mean might? He already got his at TLC 2018 when he got his arse handed to him by many people and Braun Strowman's massive foot. And now he's getting it again. He's getting 2 servings of his. You never get 2 servings. Look at Oliver. You don't get more. I mean, I get more, but I'm not a wrestler, am I? But once again, in this era where Vince McMahon's going to shake things up, apparently, he's going to give Raw fresh lick of paint, we're seeing things we saw 24 hours before. I know I said that buzzer would be overused, but it just should be there constantly throughout this entire video, to be honest with you. And to put a nice little bow on that opening segment from last night's WWE Raw, we have Vince McMahon saying we changed with the times before he wheeled out the entire cast of Dysfunctional Mania, WrestleMania 2000, 18 pissing long years after that happened, before they cut a 20-minute boring promo at the start of Raw. Lovely new things. There's one thing to say here, lads and lasses. We're being shafted by Vince McMahon, and there's naught we can do. All they had to do was do the right thing and it all would have been fine, but instead, in a situation that was quite literally life and death, WWE put cash over life, they put money over morals. So WWE entered this 10-year relationship with Saudi Arabia in an effort to help improve things in that part of the world, and definitely not just to take credit for something that was already in motion. Now, you all know what went down, so I'm not going to recap the gruesome details, but naturally, the fallout was so big and so global, and somehow, someway, WWE found themselves right at the centre of it, even though they really had nothing to do with it. The problem is, for WWE, at the time they were being trusted as part of this 10-year deal to promote all the good things the Saudi regime are doing, and just how could they do that after what happened? The pressure was on, the world's eyes were on WWE, everyone was saying WWE back out of this deal, but they didn't because Stephanie said business. They're locked in, there was nothing they could really do about it. Will this deal continue into the future? Only time will tell. One thing is for certain though, 2018 was a really bloody hard year in terms of this situation for WWE and everybody involved. Fight for your dreams and your dreams will fight for you. Now back on March the 20th, myself, Pachiki and Jack the Jobber were working late in this lovely office when it broke on Twitter, WWE cleared Daniel Bryan, and quite frankly, we all screamed like little girls. 2 years after being forced into retirement due to issues surrounding concussions, Daniel Bryan was back. After 2 years of fighting medical professionals and their professional opinion, Daniel Bryan was back. He went here, there and everywhere to try and get medical professionals to give him a yes, but one would not, and that was WWE's Dr. Maroon. But finally, Dr. Maroon said yes. get in. April the 16th, 2015, Daniel Bryan's last match took place on SmackDown where he teamed with John Cena to take on the team of Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, and at WrestleMania 34, he made his big comeback to the ring, teaming with Colonel McSweaty Bollocks. Against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And yes, of course, we've got to acknowledge the fact that WWE completely ballsed his return up, just making him feel like a normal superstar in double quick time. But now, since he's such a glorious bastard, it's almost as if they did it on purpose. That's what they'll claim, but they didn't, did they? I don't want my Christmas ruined, right? So just play the clip and let's get it over with. Quelle surprise, children! Colonel McSweaty Bollocks coming out and inserting his sweaty nose just where it doesn't belong. Don't worry though, children. He came out, he got his pop, he got his 5 minutes in the spotlight. He's done now. He's had his moment. He won't get involved again. I swear to you, honestly, he won't get involved again. Oh, but you did, didn't you, Shane? Right, first off, that ultimatum where he said if a SmackDown guy lost in the final, they wouldn't have a home on SmackDown Live, absolute bollocks. If you're going to get rid of the guy who got to the final, how can the people he beat to get to that final still have a home on SmackDown Live, you silly, sweaty bastard? Secondly, poor Miz, the poor defenseless little lamb that he is. There he is, forced to make himself like the biggest numpty this side of Piers Bastard Morgan just so Shane McMahon could get his sweaty hands on a bit of plastic that said best in the world. How pathetic are you, Shane? Third, now I know that WWE have proven that they don't know how an actual tournament works by having a World Cup with 8 bastard Americans in it, but WWE, when somebody in the final gets injured, some Joe Rogan delusional wannabe can't just put himself in there when he wants. Let's just look at Wimbledon, shall we? You know, the one with the tennis bats. If someone gets injured in the final there, some Tory from the Royal Box doesn't swoop down and take their place now, do they? Why do the rules of life not apply to this sweaty man with grey hair? Fourth, Dean Ambrose, that is the ghost of Christmas to come. I hope you enjoy being sweaty. I hope that you and Renee Young have a lovely life being sweaty together. Fifth, we have a referee who's perfectly fine with one random man getting involved in a match to determine who will take CM Punk's nickname just so WWE can stick 2 more fingers up at CM Punk, but another random man tries to get involved. He's like, stop, you can't come in. What's wrong with big baldy bastard Baron Corbin, referee? Is he not sweaty enough, you racist? Sixth, he wins a match with a coast to pissing coast. A move called that, by the way, because Shane McMahon has to go to the coast, dive into the sea and soak up all the water just so he can sweat so much. I'm sweating myself now. So in Tweddle's Britain, a WWE superstar has a finisher move and a signature move. Big baldy bastard Baron Corbin has the end of days. Big baldy bastard Baron Corbin has the deep six. Shane McMahon, coast to coast. Not a finisher, not a signature. It's just a move you go, ooh, he can jump a long way. Very impressive, but you don't finish a match for one. So to summarise, that was a joke that went too far. For months I would call Shane McMahon the best professional wrestler in the world because that's what I thought that delusional bastard thought inside of his own head, while we all laughed, while he thought he could really take on the best WWE superstars in the world, but he would lose every time. Some say this is the start of a heel turn for Shane McMahon on SmackDown Live, but let me tell you, this is the latest in a long line of delusional things that self-centered prick has done on SmackDown Live. I started all the way back at the start of the brand split when he looked his superstars in the eye and said, hey, this is the land of opportunity. Hey, it'll be all about you and not about management before he insert himself in every single big rivalry. For about 1.5 years, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens still haven't forgiven you, pal. I'm going to have a heart attack. And the best thing about all of this is, and I hope I haven't forgotten anything because I will give myself an aneurysm, Shane McMahon will be making money from a movie about the state assassination of a journalist that his wife had a hand in putting together. What a glorious mess it. Oh, God. At least they watch Cultaholic, though. That's the only logical reason for all of this. And we end with a moment that took the wind out of everybody watching. It came out of absolutely nowhere. One passing mention in all of media about Roman Reigns' battle with leukemia there had been up to that point until October the 22nd. The big dog came out, got on the microphone, said, hello, my name is Joe, and I've been battling leukemia for 11 years. So let's get right into it then. Let's kick things off with a sobering moment that reminds us all these superstars that we hold up in such high regard are just human beings just like you and me. In the 3.5 years that I've done these WTF moments, this is the biggest one ever. Roman Reigns revealed that he has been living with leukemia for the past 11 years. When he was 22 years old, he was diagnosed with the disease. It went straight into remission, but now it's come back, and he's been forced to relinquish the Universal Championship, and I, like you, was absolutely absolutely wounded by this revelation. And even if you hate the character of Roman Reigns, please, for the love of God, support the man Joe and OI for the foreseeable future. This is more than professional wrestling. It's absolutely heartbreaking to see an incredible ambassador for WWE struck down like this in his prime. This is as real life gets, because Roman Reigns is not only a husband, but a father to 3 kids at home, and now he faces the biggest battle of his entire life. However, Roman, I'm with you, big dog! However, Roman, we're still pulling for you. And that's it. That's your 10 biggest WTF moments for all of 2018. Thank you once again for joining me for another year on this YouTube adventure. I can't believe you're sticking about. I've been Ross from Cultaholic.com. Thank you very much for being a sexual wank pheasant once again. Happy Christmas, Merry New Year, all the stuff. Good. Follow me on Twitter at RossOnWrestling. Pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you follow us everywhere in the world of social media.